Yeah, recording is in progress. Okay. So first of all, then, we're going to start off our special interest group for the Mother and Baby Unit with our first pair of speakers. And we're fortunate enough to have one of the newest sort of Mother and Baby units in England, which has been set up now for quite a few years, who are going to explain a little bit about their journey and a little bit about how they meet the needs of their local population. So I'm going to hand over to Dr. Samaya Kaji and to Mandy Kirby, who are going to take over and hopefully present for the next 20 minutes or so and let us know how you're getting on. Okay.
Just bear with me so I can take over and share our screen. So that's the one. Right. So can everybody see that?
We can see it.
Yep. Great. Just to clarify, Giles, how long do we have so I can keep track of the time as I'm going? About 20 minutes, would you
About
say?
20 minutes. 20 minutes would be good. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So the first thing I want to introduce, so I'm Sumaya Kaji. I'm one of the two perinatal consultants on the mother and baby unit. We have one role, but we job share because we both do other bits. And then Mandy, are you around to introduce
Yeah.
yourself?
So can you hear me? I'm Mandy Kirby. I'm the matron on the mother and baby unit. And then we've got our colleague who's also with us.
Hi, I'm Amy Harrington. I'm a clinical nurse specialist and I lead the outreach team attached to the mother and baby unit.
So as Giles said, we are one of the fairly new mother and baby units, and we opened in January 2019. So about 5 years that we've been up and running, and just to orientate everybody as to where we are, that's a map of the UK. I should have had a little nice laser pointer, but that's the map of the UK. That's sort of the ear, as we like to call it, and that's us there in the eastern region. This bit is just London expanded out. This is a map of all of the MBUs across of the UK, with the three in London. So if we look at the ear, that this is sort of the eastern region, and this is all of what we would call East Anglia in the UK, and this is Norfolk, this is Suffolk, that's our trust. That's Norwich, that's where we're based, and we are the regional unit for Norfolk, Suffolk, and Cambridgeshire. There are two other MBUs in the region, one in Chelmsford, one in Hertfordshire, and these cover sort of all of the east of England. I think Amy will talk to you about the mileage and the distance that we cover when we particularly when the outreach works. So just to share with you our vision and values. So our vision is life brings hope and hope brings change. And we will provide care in a warm, welcoming, safe space. We will help you and your baby feel nurtured as you start your journey back to health. We will support your family, provide treatment, therapy, and care for your mental health needs while respecting your culture and diversity. We will work alongside your wider network as you continue your journey of recovery and well-being, whilst acknowledging that your journey is as individualized and unique as you are. So that is our vision and the values that we try to live and work by. And we have a video, so our video is about 4 minutes long, and this is what so it is available online or on YouTube if you want to see it. But I'm going to now try to navigate playing it for you and hope that it succeeds and that we are able to play it. If not, I'm going to sort of exit the screen share, go in, and I have opened it so that I can show it to you on another screen because the clicking didn't work. So bear with me. This is just a little rundown of the unit. Just bear with me 1 second. I will share it. I've got to just navigate the two screens. There we go. So I'm going to share it now. There we go. Can you see that?
No.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. That's screen 2.
Oh.
So yeah, there, share. I've got to click share. Is it sharing?
Yeah, go.
Yes.
Brilliant. Thank you. Please, I did practice, but you know, Amanda's thinking, "I'm so glad I'm not having to do this." I know that's what you're thinking.
Just
Okay,
want
there
to
we go.
play
So
now.
I'll play a little bit so that you get an idea. We might not get
Hi,
through
and
all
welcome
of
to
the
Kingfisher Mother and Baby Unit. This is a unit for mums who are experiencing perinatal mental health related difficulties where treatment cannot be provided at home. We're here to support you to get better and return home to your family. We know that coming into a ward environment may feel overwhelming, but we're here to help you and care for you throughout your stay with us. Kingfisher Mother and Baby Unit is a modern, bright 8-bedroom ward with en-suites, toilets and shower facilities. All rooms are equipped with a single bed, either a cot or a Moses basket, a baby changing station and storage facilities and a desk. You can make your room your own. You can decorate it, put up pictures, you can bring in blankets. This room would be yours and yours alone. Other areas on the ward that you might see and might access during your stay. We have a lovely large lounge area, which also has a dining room. This is an open space where you can relax. There's also the nest. This is an area where we offer many of our baby groups. There is comfortable seating. There's a selection of toys. You can use this room with your baby whether there is a group or not. It might also be a place that you wish to use when your family visit with your baby. We have the quiet room, which is a smaller room, but it also has toys, soft seating. There's additional TV here in case you don't want to watch what might be on in the lounge area. The ward has a milk kitchen. This is for the sterilisation and preparation of bottles. We provide a steriliser for each of the mums on the ward, and each baby has a locked cupboard for the storage of their milk powder and bottles. We also have separate fridges for if you're breastfeeding and you wish to express and store any milk in there. We have a kitchen on the ward where you're able to prepare yourself teas, coffees, breakfast. It might be that during your journey as well, you would like to increase your confidence in terms of cooking for yourself or cooking for baby. In addition to the kitchen that we have for the mums on the ward, we also have a fresh prep kitchen. We have a fantastic chef who will help prepare nutritious meals for both you and your baby if at weaning age. There is a baby bathroom on the ward with a changing station and a baby bath. You can be supported by staff in here to increase confidence as well as using this area on your own. We have a courtyard situated outside, which is in the centre of the unit. There are raised beds, chairs, tables, and an AstroTurf area, somewhere nice just to sit out if the weather allows. We also have a laundry room on the ward where you'll be able to do your own washing and drying. We also have a multi-faith room. This is a place where you can access religious literature, a place for contemplation, or to practice spirituality. The therapy room on the ward is where we run a lot of our groups. It's also the place where your ward round or your MDT meeting, as some people might know it, happens. This room is light and we aim to make it as welcoming as possible. A previous mum has written a message of hope for all mums who are coming onto the ward. She writes, "When I arrived at Norwich MBU, I felt hopeless, worthless, and was doing zero care for my baby. Fast forward 3 weeks and I'm already thinking about discharge. I feel confident, happier and on the right path. Without the support of the lovely staff and other mums, I'm not sure where I would be. Your journey may be longer than mine, but no journey is the same. You will get there. I never thought I would. I didn't believe I could, but I did."
So hopefully that gives you a reasonably good idea of who we are and what we are about. And visually, you can imagine us working in there now that you've seen it. I'm just going to go back to the PowerPoint and try to get through that quite quickly. There we go. Okay. Oh. So as we said, 8-bedded unit, we opened 6 years ago to provide inpatient perinatal mental health care to the East of England region. We have a wide range of professionals made up of nurses, medical staff, which consist of consultants, junior doctors, pharmacists, midwife, occupational therapists, social workers, psychologists, family therapists, nursery nurses, health visitors. We have a chef, we have parent infant therapists, as well as psychology assistants, and various students that join us during the course of their journeys as well. All patients have a named nurse and named consultant, and the numbers that Mandy will know a little bit more about are 664. So that would be the core staff within our day for early, late, and night shifts. And we have an outreach service that Amy will talk to a little bit more around supporting admission avoidance, early discharge, and relapse prevention. We received what we call CCQI, so the accreditation in 2024, which is something we're really proud of. And we also tend to use support workers across our MBU and the outreach, and this is a particular strength for the service. Our team of nursery nurses work very hard to ensure that we always keep the voice of the baby throughout the stay on the mother and baby unit. And we also offer additional opportunities for case formulations, reflective practice, and safeguarding supervisions on the ward. There's daily planning meetings which take place every morning with patients and staff on the ward. During this time, they complete a mind check, review anything outstanding for the ward, share news, and support planning, day-to-day support. So that's just roughly what the sort of staff makeup of the ward is. We spoke about this last week. So the measures, or the outcome measures that we use on the ward, we use the PBQ, the MAS, which is the maternal antenatal attachment scale, if that's relevant, the CORE-OM, the HONES, the POEM, and the Dialogue Plus. So those are the outcome measures that we use. And as we've shown when we do it: admission, fortnightly follow-up points, and discharge. And then I think in outreach, they do some ROMs for us as well, which they can talk to. I'm not going to go into much detail because I'm just aware of the time. Mandy, do you want to take over? And
yeah, so our referral is completed.
Got about 5 minutes, Mandy. So
pardon?
Got about 5 minutes. So
yeah, so we normally have a referral completed, and we have to decline or accept the referral within 4 hours. The referrer is made aware of the decision and they're contacted. We have a welcome pack and information that's sent out. If we don't have capacity to admit, we would seek support from the outreach team to do avoidance admission, or we would facilitate another admission out of area. Patients can come under section or informally, and if dad is on the birth certificate, we would need to have dad's consent for admission. A patient is orientated to the ward and speaks to a doctor within 4 hours, and physical health and admission checks, body map is completed, and a senior review will take place within 48 hours. We have a grand rounds where members of the teams get together with the community team, and we have 2 to 3 weeks after admission where they bring all their information and collaborate it all together. We have a dedicated carers clinic, and we provide carers assessments, and we're hoping to achieve carers accreditation. So if you just flick through the photos, so I've just put some photos in, but you've seen the video. The patient experience, so they have a timetable which they're given daily. We have a creche in the morning which runs from 9 to 10, 8 till 9, to just let the patients have a little time to get themselves together and get themselves prepared for the day without their baby. And that sort of motivates them and starts them off well for the day. And then we have groups from our OT. Do you want to go down to the patients? I think this is important, the patient carers feedback. We had a lady that, if you want to just read it, I won't read it out, but she was admitted on the ward for a long period of time, and her admission, there were times when she really struggled, but she came through on the other side and has said, "Thank you for changing my life and showing me I deserve to be here." So we then have, if you flick through, we've got our baby's nest and changing area, our quiet room, We safeguard, so we have an MBU and senior social worker who works closely with our staff and the senior safeguarding practitioner. We promote the signs of safety, which is working alongside what children's services use as a signs of safety framework. We discuss with managers regarding safeguarding referrals and DATEXs weekly, and we have safeguarding supervision every third Thursday of every month. And we do bite-sized training where practitioners come in and help us with domestic violence or training on honor-based violence and things like that. We're no longer under specialist service and held in the central locality. We have an MBU governance meeting regularly. We assure meetings are held within central locality. We do regular audits. We report to NHSE every 3 months. We report to the provider collaborative. We have management meetings every Monday and Band 6 meetings. We regularly have reflective practice, and we produce a brochure called 5 Key Points Monthly, which gives the staff a key of what's been happening within the month, any vacancies, anything that's going on the ward, any safeguarding, any DATEXs. So then it's being disseminated to the staff as well as higher up. And that's me. We can go to Amy now, who's going to talk a little bit about the outreach team.
Be as quick as I can. I know it needs to be a whistle stop. So the outreach team was initially formed prior to the opening of the MBU back in 2018, and then began operating as part of the MBU when we opened the unit in 2019. At that point, it was kind of managed by the charge nurses on the ward and would be part of a shared rota, part of the shared ward rota. But during the COVID pandemic, it was placed in what we call business continuity, so it ceased to function temporarily because of the pressures on care because of COVID. And then in April 2023, we launched our new outreach service. So we now have our own dedicated outreach team as part of the MBU team. And our remit is to offer assessment to women in the community who are vulnerable to MBU admission. So we would either facilitate and support early discharge from the MBU by supporting them in the community, or we would see them prior to MBU admission to try and prevent the need for them to go in the first place. And then post MBU discharge, we would offer relapse prevention for up to 3 months post discharge in the community. And there's no set outreach model in terms of commissioning. We're one of only a couple of MBUs across the UK who are lucky enough to have an outreach provision. And we do cover the whole of the you remember the map that Samaya showed you earlier, so the whole of the Norfolk, Suffolk and Cambridgeshire areas. So the yellow and both the greens we cover, which is an area that spans kind of just over 100 miles, a sort of 2-hour trip one way and back again. So we offer quite a vast area. We have myself in the team. We have 1 Band 6 mental health practitioner, 2 clinical support workers who job share, and we've recently had a specialist doctor join us, and she works she's kind of a shared role between us and the mother and baby unit, and then Mandy is our clinical lead. As I say, we cover 4 counties, 2 NHS trusts and 6 perinatal community teams, and we offer outreach to any patient within our catchment area regardless of where their admission was facilitated. So if any of the other MBUs in the Eastern region have facilitated admission, we would still offer that outreach support post discharge, and we would also offer outreach support if there had to be a transfer to an acute ward for whatever reason, so that transition back home is supported regardless of where admission took place. So our referral criteria is the same as the mother and baby unit. So we accept referrals for women in the 3rd trimester of pregnancy and up until 1 year post birth. We accept referrals for mums who are presenting with or who are at high risk of developing a severe mental health difficulty in the perinatal period, and our referrals come from a range of community and inpatient colleagues. So in terms of exclusion criteria, again, it's the same as the MBU. So if a woman isn't admission vulnerable, then we wouldn't see them for outreach work pre-admission. If they're experiencing a mental illness that is of mild to moderate severity, then they wouldn't be eligible. And those with a severe personality disorder or complex learning disability or substance misuse issue, unless they're also suffering from a severe mental illness. And the kind of interventions we offer would be titration onto medication or the continuing of monitoring of medication and mental state post-discharge. We monitor risk. The ROMs that Samaya talked about earlier, we would continue. So we would do the ROMs at our discharge so that the mums have a nice timeline of it's really good for them to see their scores and how things have improved or dipped, and then to think about what may have caused the improvement or the dip, and it can help with treatment planning. We support the development and use of coping strategies. We also have recently started
another presentation for another day, guys.
We haven't got time to talk about. That's something that we're working on alongside Samaya. And we source support from the local community, so our clinical support workers would go out and support mums to attend baby groups, or nurseries to help with the transition back to work.
I think I've lost the sound, but I don't know whether that's just me.
Can you hear? Hello? Hello?
Oh, wait,
Can you
Oh
hear?
yeah, there we are. I got you again.
Okay.
There you go. Sorry.
So we also would offer preparation for MBU admission. So if we know there's a bed in, say, a few days, then we would go around, speak to mum, speak to dad, answer any questions, go through the video with them, go through the welcome pack, and set the scene for them as what to expect. And we'd also do that support for family as well, and offer that signposting around kind of housing benefits. And that sort of thing, all alongside our wider community colleagues, so our perinatal teams, our crisis teams, etc.
I think that's
the last one.
So we're happy to take any questions. A whistle stopped, or there was something we could have shared, but there we go.
Oh, awesome. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate you going first. It's a very brave thing to do, isn't it? So for our very first webinar, you went first. So I'm very grateful for you doing that. That's grand.
No
and it
problem.
feels a bit like we got two for the price of one. So we've got the inpatient mother and baby unit, but we also got that in-reach outreach service, which is actually trying to keep people in the community for as long as possible and hopefully forever, rather than having to come into the unit at all. So it's really interesting just to see that parallel approach which you've been able to adopt in Norfolk. Because it is our first one, we probably didn't necessarily know how we were going to do this in terms of timing all that well.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I think we could probably just dedicate a whole session just to one service.
Yeah.
We're going to squeeze 2 or 3 into our which is fine. So for today, it would be useful, and I dare say people have got some questions. So if you have got questions, type them in the chat, and team, if you can be here for a little bit longer,
we will be.
Answer them and let us know, and we'll do it that way. That's probably the best way.
Yeah.
But thank you all very much for that presentation. I'm gonna move this swiftly on, I'm afraid. But thank you very much to the Norfolk team. I really appreciate it, and it was very interesting to see it. And also just to note that we've got Dr. Becky Horn has actually joined us as well. So part of the original team in setting up the Norfolk service. So yes, and then she's just said it was great to see how much it's developed. So thank you very much, Becky, for coming all the way from Australia, which is fantastic.
Becky was part of our initial setup, so it's lovely to have her. Yeah,
lovely to see her name somewhere.
Thank you. Thank you. I've just arrived back in Norfolk yesterday, so it's really lovely. It's lovely to so a bit jet lagged, hence why the camera off. So, but it's good to see everyone and how it's developed, and nice to see everyone.
Brilliant.
Let you continue.
Great, thanks team. Right, I'm going to hand over now. So we've got 2 other areas. So we've got David from the Czech Republic, and we've got Jenny from Sweden, who are going to talk a little bit about a different model about how we can keep people in the community, but still sticking with the same theme of those women with those really severe or complex perinatal mental illnesses. So shall I hand over to you guys if you're ready for that? Jenny, I think you're going to share your screen, and maybe I'll go first. I'll hand over to you. Thank you very much.
Let me see, 1 second. Okay, so now you can see the presentation, but not my notes, right? Yeah, great.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and just as Giles said, we're here to present, me and David are here to present another like model of care called family rooms or family co-care. It sounds nicer in Swedish, familjesamvård, but yeah, the translation. And I'll go first. I'm just gonna see if, yeah. So I'm a medical doctor resident in psychiatry, and I have a PhD in gynecology and global health. And I'm doing this family co-care as my postdoc project. So I'm both doing research on it, and I'm also like in charge of developing the routine and so on. And I work in a team, of course, but I'll try to make this presentation short. And David, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm on the second slide. Actually, wait a second. My name is David Škrda, and I work as a psychiatrist in the University Hospital of Ostrava. And I just lost my notes. Give me a second. I'm so sorry. I don't know where it went.
Should I help you, David? It's just your supervisor.
Yeah. I'm right there. I'm so sorry that it happened. And yeah, there it is. I'm opening it. Yep. So I work as a psychiatrist at the University Hospital in Ostrava. In my postgraduate studies, I became interested in therapeutic monitoring of psychopharmaceutical levels from umbilical cord blood and maternal blood, which actually led me to perinatal psychiatric care. I'm also currently working as a researcher in National Institute of Mental Health, where I am involved with our team in implementation of this care in our country. I'm still a resident in psychiatry, so I work under the supervision of the head of a clinic, Peter Shilhan. I must take this opportunity to mention that he is the one who got me into this topic. Originally, as the son of a gynecology chief, he always wanted to take this subject, but according to his words, it wasn't the right time for it when he started his PhD studies. I mean, politically, and I want to mention it because he's really passionate about it, and I have really big support from his side in this topic. So that's my
Thank you. Yeah, so me and David, we did not know each other. We just found out in this special interest group that we're doing quite much the same thing. So we've just met on Zoom and prepared this together. And it's nice to exchange experiences from working with it. And the outline is just like the background, why we came up with these family rooms, how we have prepared it, what things that have made it difficult and easy, and also some thoughts about the future of this model of care. And in both the Czech Republic and in Sweden, there are no MBUs at all. So, and babies are not allowed in psychiatric wards. So mothers or other parents have been separated, which of course is not good. And also from our experience, it has also been a barrier for parents to seek help because they don't want to get to be separated from their baby. And the availability of perinatal psychiatric care in Sweden is quite limited. There are only a few outpatient clinics, and they are located in Stockholm. In other parts of the country, it's more often a consultant that can consult if there is a parent that is ill, but there are no great units as I mean, England is way ahead than Sweden in this. We also have like a very large country with low density of people, so it's practically very difficult to have mother-baby units for most parts of Sweden, at least. But we have this check of mothers postpartum, 6 weeks postpartum. We use the EPDS, and we also in many regions we have conversations with fathers or the other parent to check on their mental health. So we try to not only focus on the mother but also on the other parent. And we use electroconvulsive therapy, ECT. But we like to do it at least when a mother is severely mentally ill. But it's not it's not accessible in all clinics in Sweden. So it also depends on where you live. And I work in Stockholm at
maybe can I just put
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the background on my
Yeah.
side? So
Yes, sorry.
I will take part for Czech Republic right now. So at the present, the psychiatry in Czech Republic is undergoing major changes. Reforms are under the way to ensure modern psychiatric approaches. So in this context, active education of public is being carried out with aim of the destigmatization mainly, and also at the same time early detection of possible psychiatric illnesses to avoid chronification of the condition. And in spirit of this reform, which encourages the development of different psychiatric specialties, perinatal psychiatric care is emerging. Our team has been able to open a total of 2 centers from this specialized care in outpatient settings. The first one is in the National Institute in the Prague. It was a last slide where was the Czech Republic with the Praha, which is capital, and there is the National Institute of Mental Health. And the second one is University Hospital in Ostrava. We have screening questionnaires used for early detection of imminent deterioration or development of mental disorder have been introduced and are available at numerous obstetric units and gynecologist outpatient facilities. They form the basis of cooperation between our specialties. In this context of screening, we were inspired a lot by, I think it was called COPE, an application from Australia. So they are also, the screening are freely available on the internet. So when the women completed it, the patient is referred to the nearest social organization, and after that to psychotherapists or psychiatrists with perinatal specialization, depending on the issue. And as I mentioned, the availability in perinatal psychiatric care in Czech Republic is very limited, and we have only 5 of these specialists, including me, in the whole country, which has population of 10 million. Mother-baby units are not available, and the children are not allowed in psychiatric wards as well as in Sweden. In this context of serious mental disorders, ECT is widely used and relatively available, but highly stigmatized in our society. Often patients avoid the voluntary indication and prolong the suffering from the postpartum period. So that's the background, like what is happening actually in Czech Republic.
Thank you, David. And sorry, I apologize.
No problem.
Messed up the order of our slides. And the psychiatric care in Stockholm is divided into 5 clinics, and I work in one of them then that is located on Karolinska University Hospital in Huddinge. And this is together with the Karolinska Hospital in Solna, the largest hospital in Sweden. And here with the red circle is just where the psychiatry is. And at this hospital, we have the largest unit for perinatal psychiatry in Sweden, which perhaps doesn't say too much because there are not many such units, but still it has a lot of different activities, and this is there is a multidisciplinary team working there. So they have psychiatric assessments, medical treatment, of course, therapeutical and psychosocial treatment as supportive talks, pregnancy and parent-baby yoga, internet-delivered cognitive behavioral therapy, and attachment and interplay treatments, etc. And the team, in the team, there are perinatal psychiatrists, midwives, psychiatry nurses, psychologists, and they are like one part of the family co-care. This is the outpatient clinic, and they work together with the inpatient clinic with the ward. And currently we have one room for the family co-care, And this is located at the ward for affective disorders, so mostly patients with bipolar disorder. And this ward is called M86, and it's a mixed gender ward with 16 beds. And there are doctors, nurses, and nursing assistants working here. And at the ward, and for these patients, they often get ECT, medication, of course, and the ward also offer other individual and group activities, such as physical activity, etc. But these patients also benefit, of course, from the treatments and activities from the perinatal psychiatry unit. So they work together, and this can they can also meet the social workers to get help with parental insurance issues, for example. They can have parent-baby yoga, and they can get like support in attachment and interplay as well. And this is the family co-care started in October 2023, so it's like 1.5 years ago. And one challenge in the process have been to make these two, like the inpatient and outpatient, work together well, because they don't have any place where they regularly meet. So that is one of the challenges that we're working on, so that they can have like close contacts when discussing the patients. And yeah. And this is just 2 pictures from the ward. The family room is occupied at the moment, which we are happy for. Yeah, so sorry. I couldn't take a photo of the room, unfortunately. And in this slide, I will tell you a bit about the process we've been through. And first, I'd like to say that it's been a very easily maneuvered project, or how to say, a very positive one, because people have been so engaged and positive about the idea. And staff from both units have been visiting mother-baby units in England and learned some from them. Early on, we had a meeting with staff at the ward discussing their hopes and fears, and like what kind of training they requested, etc. And one thing that was raised both in Sweden and in the Czech Republic was that they wanted to be trained in neonatal resuscitation, for example. Yeah, so we collected all their hopes and fears, and we tried to meet them and train them in what they think they need in order to feel comfortable with treating these patients and having babies at the ward. We've been doing a careful risk assessment together also with representatives from a union, so that they can represent the staff. We've made a careful cost calculation, and this is interesting because the cost is not much more than conventional conventional care. The only additional cost would actually be if an extra staff is needed when the family is on the ward. But as far as I know, we have not needed any extra staff so far. So this is important for all the politicians and also the chief medical officer and etc., that it doesn't have to be expensive to do this. We've had several meetings with representatives from the somatic care, so that they know that they can refer patients if they're worried, midwives from the delivery ward, for example. We've had contact with law people discussing what does the insurance cover? Will we need another insurance? Those kind of questions. And we've had contact with psychologists, so they've developed a special PM or routine for how to work with attachment and interplay. And several meetings with the head of the department, of course, with children's agents, and we've had several training sessions. We've developed specific scenarios, like what risks are there when we're having a baby at the ward. For example, if the mother holds the baby too tight and would not let it go, how can we work with that? What if a father becomes violent at the ward? How can we solve that situation, etc.? We've, of course, equipped the room, and we've had continuous update of the routine. And we've trained the staff, of course, and we're working on spreading this, the information about this opportunity, because the other clinics need to know that they can refer patients to us and that we will take care of the parents. Yeah. And a few central parts in this is that there always needs to be a significant other that takes care of the baby. So the parent or the patient should not be responsible for the baby, but the other parent can be, for of course. This is very like patient-centered, and we're trying to be very flexible. So some patients have just stayed daytime and went home to sleep overnight. Regular assessments of risk of violence and suicide is of course central, and we're working very careful with that. We're also treating patients that are involuntarily hospitalized, and we are open for all parents, so it can be a father as well, of course. Yeah, and so far we've only had a few patients, but we've had some interviews both with patients with their significant other, usually a partner, and also with other patients at their ward to see how what they think about this care. We've had a first interview today, actually, so that was quite nice with the co-patient. And the first patient said that if the family co-care had not existed, I would not have asked for help. So, and in general, so far, the patients have been very positive. But we're trying to expand, which is a challenge, and to inform people of this. And that's the biggest challenge right now, I think. Yeah, go ahead, David.
Okay, thank you. So in our region, the Moravskoslezský total population is 1.2 million, and we have 4 psychiatric institutions which divides the region in 4 catchment areas. All of them know about our perinatal outpatient psychiatric care through awareness. Private outpatient psychiatric care providers have been educated as well in the same way. If patients present with the perinatal problem, either in the context of a primary contact or relapse of an already present psychiatric illness, she is referred to us. It should be noted that within the limited availability, our center provides a telephone or email consultation across other regions. Thus, in the 1 year of our existence, we have already examined, I guess, and eventually treated 70 patients. Next slide, please. There should be, yes, thank you so much. To give you an idea, here are some pictures of what it looks like in Ostrava. In the first pictures, you can see the University Hospital of Ostrava. In the red circle there is our psychiatric clinic beautifully hidden in the forest. And on the next picture, we received actually funding from the European Union to build a new pavilion, which is abbreviated by the letter X. So me and colleagues joking because we can call our patients a real X-Men, right? So in the next picture, there is how it looks like on the ward. The example is closed ward. So in this design, there is a central garden so that patients can go outside and enjoy nice weather. And on the picture, you can see the rooms on the right side. Same as in Jenny's situation, there are patients who I can't take photos of the room right now. So on the next slide, please. Thank you. And there are 3 stations, namely the closed, gerontopsychiatric, and psychotherapeutic wards. In total, there are 66 beds. When considering where it would be the best to put family room, we choose the psychotherapy station C, mainly based on the patient mix and the lowest risk of aggressive behavior. It is a mixed gender ward. Doctor, psychologists, nurses, and nursing staff works here. the treatment program is focused on mainly on medication, but also on psychotherapy, group activities such as art therapy, activization programs, occupational therapy, psychoeducation, creative blocks, and also evening relaxations. Patients are also scheduled for ECT. And next slide, please. Yes, the idea of family room was actually born during one of my psychiatric consultations. For context, all patients who are managed at our center and choose to give birth in our obstetric unit are provided with psychiatric consultation right in the postnatal ward. At the time, there was my patient with bipolar affective disorder who unfortunately relapsed with development of depressive symptomatology. And the condition required actually the short-term hospitalization for stabilization, which patient agreed to. And on the education, when I started the education and told her that the child could not be admitted to the ward, the severe anxiety decompensation occurred. So that was the basis for opening a discussion with my supervisor, the head of the psychiatric clinic. As a result, visits were allowed with the family member, with the child. The overnight stay itself could not be implemented because in this respect, the family member and the child would have to be hospitalized as healthy companions. And there is no legislative anchor for this issue in Czech Republic. So this is how I actually started my journey towards the implementation of this extra care. And compared to Jenny, my process is more chaotic because I was under time crunch. I knew there would be more of these patients and therefore it needed to be resolved as soon as possible. So it's more parallel. First, we started by meeting with the entire medical staff on our psychiatric clinic. And at this meeting, we work out the FMEA, which means failure mode and effect analysis. It was very interesting experience in itself. The way it works is that the individual participants freely associated the problems that may arise in relation to the care in each category: staff, patient, attendant, and child. It then goes on to score the severity of the problem. In the last category, various measures are devised to prevent the problem. The most addressed area are the acute condition in the child and inappropriate and unauthorized handling of the child. Due to the dominant concern for the health of the baby, a meeting is now arranged with the management of obstetric and neonatal units. Other important domains are the assessment of whether the patient is fit to be in the room with the child, whether the patient is fit to care for the child in the home environment, and subsequent non-compliance after discharge that could place the child at risk. In this case, we discuss staff education, risk scaling, and possible implementation of psychological evaluation. In parallel, I also reach our legal department to discuss informed consult, respectively, in what sense we can actually pass the responsibility for the child to healthy companion family member. At the moment, lawyers are working hard on the answer and trying to reach some consensus. Subsequently, the legal department of Czech Medical Chamber will be consulted as well. The last part is economy. We already pre-arrange hospitalization that the family will pay for in full. The amount is symbolic so that it will be accessible to lower social classes. My question also to my colleagues in Insurance Commission was whether this care could be at least partially covered by the health insurance. And according to the information available, there is some reimbursement for healthy companion to a child over 6. So we need to do some variation of this for an adult. I have already reached out to reviewing physician at insurance company, and I'm now waiting for his response. So that's the scheme I'm working on. So next slide, please. Yeah, thank you. Since then, we managed to resolve one more patient on this child visitation regime who was successfully discharged actually yesterday after stabilization. Overall, this solution via child visitation is not optimal. There are many risks that are not legally treated. With provide solution in particular, we provide this solution in particular in connection with the granting of financial support from sickness insurance, known as long-term care benefits for close relative. The requirement is at least 4-day hospital stay. As a result, the family member is covered to stay at home with patients for 3 months. The medical condition is further addressed by frequent checkups at our center. So currently I'm continuing working on this on the implementing of family co-care in our hospital. I consider this care as an intermediate solution on the way to mother-baby units. And it is already evident that some members of the staff have been approached by this idea. In the future, it will be much easier to create a team for the new ward. So that's updates on my work. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. No problem. I didn't. Yeah, that was the last slide. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I'll skip this part. I think we're done. And please post questions.
Awesome. Thank you very much, both of you. So again, we got two for the price of one again, didn't we, really? So two completely different countries. So thank you very much for merging them together and helping us to see another way of how we can look after women in those with severe and complex perinatal mental health needs. And I suppose the other thing that's added into that, and I suppose coming from a very UK-based, NHS-based background, it's just really interesting just listening to both of you talking a lot about the insurance and about how you can get funding for these sorts of interventions and about how you do it. So it's really interesting to hear the process that both of you have gone through to think about how you can advocate for these types of services for women and for families to make sure they get the very best care. I will open it up to questions if people have got questions. Just while people are thinking about questions, I'll ask one. So I suppose just to be clear in my own mind, so basically you've got people, so generally it's the mom who's admitted when she's acutely unwell and she's acute into the general adult ward still, but then you've got a separate co-family room, a co-care room where she can be moved out of the acute ward into a separate room and her husband or her mother or whoever, her significant other, could stay there with her and can stay there for 24/7, so can stay overnight and provide care for the baby overnight as well.
Yeah, actually, I'm working on it right now. So we have the visitation regime from 8 to 8. There can be like family member with the kid, but the overnight stay is the complicated part of it. So that's what I'm just working out, and then it would be amazing because we need to do it.
Okay, so at the moment, then what we've got is that before you guys were doing what you were doing, complete separation, no access to baby whatsoever, had to be completely separate. Whereas now they can still be admitted into hospital and they can have access to their baby for a varying amount of time during the day, and it's the other co-parent or somebody else, significant other, who's taking responsibility for baby at the moment. Okay, I got it.
Kind of. Well, we have a room for visitors, so before they could meet their baby during the day in the room or outside the hospital, or in the hospital, but not at the ward. But now they have the room in the ward, and the family has to stay in the room, so the baby cannot be outside in the lounge area, etc. And when they are transported back and forth from the ward, there will need to be a staff with them in order for it to be safe. But for most women, since we treat many with ECT, the mean time for admission, the mean admission time is 2 weeks, for postpartum women, postpartum illness in general. So
Cool.
Usually it's not a lot of time so that they would be too bored, like just staying in the room all day. I mean, I think
Yeah.
these concepts are so different from a mother baby unit. It's more like an opportunity to not separate. But we have not had any patient staying for longer than a couple of weeks.
Okay. And so the mom doesn't stay in the co-parent in the co-care room. She's not sleeping there. She still sleeps on the ward. It's just another space where mom can go and be with her baby and the family.
No, sorry, it's a room at the ward where the family stays. That's the patient room, and the same like the patient and the family room. But we also have a room for visitors outside the ward.
Yeah.
But that's just like a meeting room. The patient room is like with a bathroom and beds and TV.
Yeah. So she's still got that separate.
Same at ours. We have two beds, actually sanitation room with everything, and she can be like on the room only with the family, or she can go through the regime of the station, right? So some activities, psychotherapy, especially individual one, it's really better for her. So yeah, like normal psychotherapeutic ward.
Okay.
But most of the patients, in our case, they have been like the baby have been with them during the day. Perhaps the mother has received ECT in the morning. She's been observed during the day, then went home to sleep. For some of them, that also for the women that have babies before, like older siblings, they've slept at home. Some of them, and then went back in the morning. So it's been like it's been very flexible. So it's not there. It's not similar to a mother baby unit in that sense. It's more specialized perinatal care together with the opportunity to bring the baby and to be together the family so that we don't separate.
Cool. And how big is your catchment area? So how far are women traveling in order to access your service?
It's for me, it's just in the Stockholm region, so it's not big. I'm not sure the kilometers, but there are 2.5 million in the Stockholm in our catchment area. But so far, we've only taken patients or received patients from our like 1/5 of the catchment area, and that's also one thing that I'm working on to expand.
Yeah. Okay. And how old? Sorry, David. Go for it, David.
In my region, it works that we discuss it, and right now it's only for our region with this stay, and we want to prolong it, but we don't yet know how many patients it will be. So we are still waiting to do just the loafing and so on, and then when we open it, we want to just have higher catchment area, help to other across the region. We have really one big blind spot in Czech Republic because there are three big cities, Ostrava, Prague, and between them there is Brno, and there is nothing with perinatal. So I have patients who actually drive to me like 2 hours in car, just for the examination. So I'm really trying a lot with the webcam and the telephone contact, just to educate, to also with the psychiatrist there, just tell him which medicament can be used during the gravidity and with the lactation and so on. So really a lot of consulting.
Okay, and then and following on from that, so Sunita's asked in the chat whether you're able to offer any support in terms of the travel to and from the centre. So it sounds like families are travelling in and out a bit more often. Do you offer any support and any help with getting to and from?
Yeah, do you want to start, David?
Start. I'm just thinking about the question.
Well, for our patients at the hospital, we offer like it's a very small fee to get by a taxi when they are discharged or going on permission. But going back and forth every day, I think most patients have had a car or perhaps they've commuted. It's very easy to commute to the hospital.
Okay.
Not for everybody, but I mean, in Stockholm, there are a lot of options at least.
Okay, so it's not a barrier. Okay. What about you, David?
Same thing. Like, yeah, it's up to the family. If they are really supportive, I educate them that it's really good for the woman who is hospitalized, and yeah, they just use their car and just go on every day to visit her.
Okay. And how old will you take babies up till? Have you got a cut-off point for your babies?
Up to 1 year for us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Same as okay. Really interesting. Okay. Any
Wait,
other questions for
you
anyone else?
said, I'm sorry, you said after 1 year or
Okay.
to 1 year?
We only receive infants in our place. Yeah,
Until
so
1 year.
yeah.
Yeah.
But siblings, older siblings can visit in the visitors room, but they are not allowed to be in the ward.
Yeah.
Children are never inside a ward, except from in this project or this.
Yes. 100% same.
Brilliant. Okay. Thank you both very much. That was really interesting and really fascinating and really well delivered. So thank you very much. We've gone just over our hour, so I probably ought to bring it to an end at that point. But I've learned so much as ever with all of these meetings. I learned so much about how different services are working in England as well as across the world. So it's really interesting to find out how we all do things like differently. So thank you very, very much for being brave enough to go first and for sharing so much knowledge about your own services and your experiences about how you're doing it, what you've done. And I think each time we learn a little bit more about how these services develop, but also about how we can campaign and advocate for these services in other countries around the world. So thinking about those legal aspects, thinking about insurance, thinking about how you pay for these things. All of those things are really important things for us to take into account if we're going to think about how we spread services for women with the most severe and complex forms of perinatal mental illness. So thank you for opening our eyes to that, and thank you very much for sharing your projects with us. I also hear that it's fairly early days for both of you, so we wish you the very best of luck in terms of how it grows and how it expands. And we're really, really excited to have you back at some point to tell us about what you've achieved over the next few months, years, however long it takes. We'll be here to hear it. So it'll be really exciting. Well, hopefully we'll be here to hear it. It'll be really exciting to find out how it goes. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank
On
you.
that note, I will call us to an end. But thank you very much, everybody. Spread the word. We will be having more salons. There'll be another one in September. And this one will be available on our Marcé website, so people will be able to watch it and to see it in the future. So thank you very much for making the time to come along. Thank you very much for our presenters, but thank you very much for everybody who's come along to listen as well. We appreciate your support, and we will see you at the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you all.